Chapter 4. Summoned and Interrupted. The alley fell silent again, leaving nothing but the faint hum of the streetlight above and the distant murmur of the city, oblivious to the dark deeds done beneath its glow. Elle stood for a moment, staring at the empty place where the man had once been, now reduced to nothing but fine ash blowing away in the breeze. His lip curled in mild annoyance. "Humans," he muttered, stepping forward to scatter the last remnants of ash with his boot. Always so messy, driven by petty impulses and self-destructive desires. He glanced at the other body, the woman who had fallen victim to the man's twisted obsession. Unlike the man, she remained intact, sprawled lifelessly on the grimy pavement. Elle rolled his eyes. He hated cleaning up after others, even if indirectly responsible. "Fantastic," he sighed, running a hand through his dark hair. "Now I'm stuck dealing with leftovers." He raised 2 fingers to his lips and gave a sharp, piercing whistle. The sound sliced through the heavy night, resonating with an unnatural frequency. Shadows shifted, pooling and writhing at the edge of the alley, and from within them emerged the hellhound. Cat stepped forward, a massive, monstrous creature born of darkness and fire. Its fur shifted and smoldered like black smoke, eyes burning like molten coals set deep in its skull. Its jaws, filled with dagger-sharp fangs, dripped saliva that sizzled upon hitting the ground. "Took you long enough," Elle remarked dryly. He gestured dismissively toward the corpse. "Clean this up." The beast approached the body with unsettling grace, jaws snapping shut around the woman. A sickening crunch echoed briefly as the hound effortlessly lifted the corpse, dragging it back into the shadows from which it had appeared. "Good boy," Elle murmured, already turning away. He had barely taken 2 steps when he felt it. A strange, unfamiliar tug deep within his chest. He paused, brows furrowing in confusion. This wasn't the usual sensation of a new deal being formed or a soul being offered. No, this was different, something he hadn't felt in centuries. He growled low, irritation flaring. "Seriously? A summoning circle? Now?" He resisted the pull at first, attempting to shrug off the insistent tugging, but whoever was performing the summoning had done enough homework to make resistance annoyingly difficult. "Fine," he muttered, eyes narrowing with irritation. "Let's see what amateur magician has managed to ruin my evening." The pull intensified, and with an exasperated sigh, Elle allowed himself to be drawn forward, his surroundings dissolving into a whirl of darkness and light. When the world reformed, he found himself standing in a cramped, dimly lit cabins filled with the scent of old parchment, wax, and dried herbs. Bookshelves lined the walls, overflowing with dusty volumes and faded manuscripts. Around him, haphazardly drawn sigils formed a crude summoning circle on the wooden floor. At the edge of the circle stood a young woman, leaning casually against a table, a large, worn book lying open before her. She barely spared him a glance as she flipped another page, murmuring quietly to herself. Elle stared at her, incredulous. "Are you serious right now?" She finally looked up, expression calm and unimpressed. "Oh, I suppose it actually worked." He glared, irritation flaring brighter. "You dragged me here with this old-school nonsense. Ever heard of modern technology? An app? A polite text message, maybe?" She shrugged lightly, flipping another page. "You seem annoyed." "Annoyed? That's an understatement. You interrupted me for this." He gestured to the crude circle around him. "This isn't even a proper binding circle. Did you copy this out of a children's magic book?" She raised an eyebrow. seemingly unaffected by his frustration, and yet you're still standing inside it. He paused, testing the invisible barriers. Surprisingly, the circle held firm enough to contain him. A flicker of genuine intrigue passed briefly across his features, before quickly being replaced by a scowl. "Fine," he said curtly, crossing his arms in irritation. "What do you want? Fame? Fortune? Eternal beauty? Please, do tell me you didn't go through all this trouble for something mundane." She closed the book with a definitive snap, holding his gaze evenly. "Knowledge," El groaned, rolling his eyes dramatically. "Of course. Knowledge has a price, little magician, and I promise it won't come cheap." She tilted her head slightly, unflinching. "Then we have a deal." El glared at her, realization dawning that his evening had been thoroughly disrupted by someone dangerously determined. As the weight of the moment settled in, Annette felt her heartbeat quicken, a blend of triumph and unease stirring within her. She had done it. She had summoned something real, something powerful, but at what cost? Around them, flickering like silent witnesses to her dangerous ambition. With each passing second, the room seemed smaller, the air heavier. Annette took a breath, gathering her strength and steadying her nerves. She couldn't afford to show fear, not now. Knowledge was within her reach, and she was determined to claim it, no matter the price. "Fantastic," he muttered darkly. "Let's begin."